Ask Schellie show. My name is Schellie Fan. I am your emotional intelligence expert. Today, we are highlighting a question that was written in by a woman whose African American husband left her perceivably for an Asian woman. And she's going through a lot of pain and a lot of hurt and a lot of anger. And we are going to provide feedback to her today. And my consultation team is going to help. Welcome to the Ask Schellie show. Again, my name is Schellie Fan. I have the privilege of being your host. I am the CEO and owner of Ask Schellie Consulting, where I have the privilege of working with corporations, providing the support of psychoeducation that brings them and their teams to their next level. I have the privilege of working with individuals and married couples and parents and providing evidence-based therapeutic interventions that bring individuals to their next level. I have the privilege of traveling throughout the United States and beyond, teaching kingdom principles and psychological principles, bringing people to that crossroad, I call it. That crossroad, that intersection where psychological principles and kingdom protocols connect, and teaching people the secret sauce to living in your smile. I have the privilege of being your host of the Ask Schellie show, where we share and highlight and provide feedback to a challenging question that one of our community members submits. That's what we do every week live right here. It's been a couple of weeks. I am back. Been doing a lot of planning, a lot of traveling, trying to make this show the best it can be. So look out, stay tuned. God is doing some great things. For those of you who are tuned in, please let me know who you are, where you are tuning in from. Make sure you click that share button. I am sure there is someone that needs to hear this recording. This is why I love what I do. You never, ever know whose line of sight or whose earshot this live, this or the replay is going to fall in. So make sure that you share. Today, we are talking about getting over infidelity, getting over that betrayal, getting over pain and hurt, resentment, anger turned outwards or anger turned inward. We're talking about it today. I want to know how you guys feel about closure. Is it overrated? And the only reason why we're highlighting that is because she mentions closure and the need for it in her question to us. This is a group effort. I love the feedback that I get from our listeners and those who write in. Love the feedback that you guys provide. So your input is extremely valuable. So be sure to share. You can go into the comment section and let us know what your feedback is. And if you are interested in joining me right here live on stage, I will put, as a matter of fact, let me do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and copy the link and put it right into the comment section so that you can join me here live on stage. All you have to do is click on that link. It's going to take you here live. You can keep your cameras off. You don't have to identify yourself, and you could provide your feedback live. All right, so we're talking about hurt, infidelity, betrayal. We need you on your best behavior. We need the highest level of engagement, because I believe that breakthrough is always on the other side of something we do not know, sometimes something that we just have to be reminded of. So here we go. Are you ready for the question? Hello, Shelton from Las Vegas. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ask Schellie show. Again, if you are tuning in, let me know who you are and where you are tuning in from. We have those on Facebook and YouTube listening on today. Again, I'm Schellie. I'm back. I missed you guys. Okay, so we have so many questions to highlight since we have been in replay mode, just taking the time to rebuild the platform for this show. So I may be sneaking in some lives very quick, just some quick lives during the week, highlighting these questions to make sure that we are providing the feedback that our community needs. So here we go. Are you ready for the question? And it reads, Dear Ask Schellie, please help me. I feel like I am losing my marbles. I haven't heard that in so long. So my husband and I finalized our divorce about 1 year ago. He was having an affair with an Asian woman and chose to leave our home and ultimately our marriage. We were married for 15 years and have 2 children together. This past year has been very rough for me. I cannot get over the anger. It literally torments me. I cannot sleep. I recycle in my head over and over and over again how a woman would be okay breaking up a family and sleep well at night. I find myself constantly stalking his social media pages and getting sick to my stomach with the happiness the pictures reflect. How does he get to be happy? How does she get to be happy? How does she get everything I deserve? I was his wife. I was with him when he had nothing. I am the mother of his children. I have been his primary support. This is torture. I am so angry with myself. I always knew he had a thing for Asian women, but never in a million years would I have thought he would leave me for one. I find myself staring at Asian women with hatred in my heart. I want to scream at non-melanated women to leave our Black men alone, she puts in all caps. Can us Black women have anything, she puts in all caps. What is wrong with us? I rebuke that in Jesus' name. I'm just putting my own stuff in there. It's not written there. But anyway, going back, I want to scream at non-melanated women to leave our Black men alone. Can us Black women have anything? What is wrong with us? What is wrong with me? I want this hatred to stop. I want peace. I want to rest well and have joy. I do not know where to start. 1 year is such a long time. That's the question today. That is the question today. Hello. Thank you so much for tuning into the Ask Schellie show. We are talking about a woman who was perceivably left for an Asian woman. I'm assuming she's African American. Yes, she does say that because she says us. She says, what's wrong with us African American women when she says that non-melanated women are after our African American men? And so she's really upset and she's hurt, right? And so we are here to give her some feedback. So what are your thoughts? Go ahead and go into the comment section. Let me know what you think. I'm going to go ahead and read the question one more time. We're going to highlight your comments and we'll get into my feedback as well. And again, it reads, Dear Ask Schellie, please help me. I feel like I am losing my marbles. So my husband and I finalized our divorce about 1 year ago. He was having an affair with an Asian woman and chose to leave our home and ultimately our marriage. We were married for 15 years and have 2 children together. This past year has been very rough for me. I cannot get over the anger. It literally torments me. I cannot sleep. I recycle in my head over and over and over again how a woman would be okay breaking up a family and sleep well at night. I find myself constantly stalking his social media pages and getting sick to my stomach with the happiness the pictures reflect. How does he get to be happy? How does she get to be happy? How does she get everything I deserve? I was his wife. I was with him when he had nothing. I am the mother of his children. I have been his primary support. This is torture. I am so angry with myself. I always knew he had a thing for Asian women, but never in a million years would I have thought he would leave me for one. I find myself staring at Asian women with hatred in my heart. I want to scream at non-melanated women to leave our Black men alone. Can us Black women have anything? What is wrong with us? What is wrong with me? I want this hatred to stop. I want peace. I want rest. I want to rest well and have joy. I do not know where to start. 1 year is such a long time. Ooh. She says 1 year is such a long time. What are your thoughts? What's your feedback? Go into the comment section. Let me know what it is you think. Let me know what feedback you have for this woman, whether it's empowering, encouraging, whether it's confronting. Go ahead and put your thoughts in the comment section. You can also click on the link and join me right here on stage, and you could provide your feedback live. Hello, Martine from Port Charlotte. Thank you so much for tuning into the Ask Schellie show. We are talking today about a woman whose husband left her for an Asian woman. This is an African American woman who was married to an African American man who left her for an Asian woman, and she is angry. So let's talk about this. Let me know. I just wanted to show off my cup. So let me know what it is you think. Make sure you put your comments in the comment section. Provide your feedback. So let's chat a little bit. Let's talk a little bit. First and foremost, I want to make sure that we get on the same page about something, and that is the concept of the degree, the magnitude of the stressors that we are about to talk about, right? So in the psychological world, we consider these stressors catastrophic. So catastrophic stressors basically means that these are things, events that happen in our lives that can potentially cause us trauma or can cause some type of major dysfunction or any level of dysfunction in the major areas of our lives. So catastrophic stressors can be acts of nature, right? Like a hurricane, an earthquake, homelessness. On that mental illness, like a diagnosis of cancer, or receiving a diagnosis of a terminal illness. I'm just trying to think of some examples of catastrophic stressors. On that list, right, of catastrophic stressors is divorce. And the reason why I say this is because I often get women and sometimes men that come in for help, and they feel like, man, it's been a year, it's been 2 years. I can't get back into the dating scene. I don't feel like I can go back to my day-to-day operations. And I have to get them to understand that they are processing and trying to overcome and trying to heal from something considered catastrophic. So when you think about it that way, and just the act of infidelity, that betrayal alone is considered catastrophic, to then add divorce on top of it, and then the circumstances involved in the divorce, it makes it really heavy. And the reason why I'm saying that is because as we read her question, as we read her email, we're seeing depression. We're seeing anxiety, right? That's the inability to sleep when we are just putting on replay certain thoughts that just continue to play back. We call that perseveration, so she has these perseverating thoughts that keep her up at night and she can't turn them off. She calls it torment. So we're seeing depression, and we're hearing about her anxiety. We're hearing about anger that's married to depression. That's anger that's turned outward, and she's generalizing her anger to all Asian women. And she's also internalizing anger, which is a form of depression. Anger turned inward, that's a manifestation of depression. And so we're seeing all of these symptoms, right, that have to be acknowledged as such. And so again, we're hearing that this is a person that is experiencing catastrophic stressors and has over the past year. Now, she's been divorced for a year. We don't even know how long this man was in that relationship, right? And what that did to her. So we're looking at possibly 2 or 3 years of dealing with these stressors. And so it's important that we highlight those symptoms, because sometimes we'll normalize abnormalities and we'll make it seem like we're overreacting to certain things and try to push that resilience button. But we got to call a thing a thing. We got to call a spade a spade. If it's depression, let's call it depression. If it's anxiety, let's call it anxiety. The little butterflies that you carry each and every day that you've just gotten used to, that's called anxiety, right? When you're losing your breath and you think that it's normal, those are panic attacks. Your inability to sleep for 8 uninterrupted hours is a problem. Your inability to make decisions without the help of others is a problem. Your continued pattern of making certain decisions that don't serve you, that is an emotional issue. We have to stop normalizing abnormalities and call a thing a thing. This is a woman that's undergoing catastrophic stressors, depression, anxiety. We're hearing anger. She's generalizing her anger. She's dealing with resentment. She's dealing with grief. She probably hasn't even navigated through the grief stages, or maybe she just got stuck in the anger stage of grief. We've talked about grief right here on the Ask Schellie show. We talked about denial, right? Being one of the stages. I don't like to say phases because people can go through the different stages of anger in different ways, but generally it's denial, just not even putting, not even accepting truth as truth, right? Then there's anger, and she's very angry. And then there's bargaining, and that's when we talk, we burden ourselves with coulda, woulda, shoulda. If I did this would have happened. I could have done that. I should have done that. Only if I would have, right? And that can sometimes promote lots of guilt and shame. And then there's depression. And that is, again, anger turned inward. It's when we implode. And then we have full acceptance. This is when we heal and we take our stories to bless and bring other people to breakthrough. So we see that she's possibly stuck in the anger stage of her grief process. This woman needs help. So, Queen, the first thing that I want to tell you is that you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to do this alone. I can provide, this community can provide encouragement and empowerment and give you feedback. However, I am hearing I'm hearing and seeing your issues as high risk of additional issues. I don't like to use, trying to use my words very carefully because, like I say, this show is for information and entertainment purposes only. And so I'm very careful with the feedback that I provide because I don't know the whole story. Queen, we hear your side. We don't know his side. There's so many things that are necessary before we can make diagnoses and create treatment plans. That is what therapy will do for you. This is when you're able to align yourself with a professional who's licensed and anointed for doing what he or she does, that can help you heal from this, help you learn from this, help you overcome from this. Your closure is your healing. And I'm going to talk about closure a little bit later, but I do feel that you should consider therapy. You do not have to do this alone. And when you're going through therapy and you've had some therapy and you're making progress and the healing process is well underway, I would recommend that you seek out communities that you can join, whether it's groups of other women who have overcome or are overcoming betrayal and divorce and infidelity, so that you can align yourself with like-minded women who are committed to healing. And that's the key, because you got to be very, very careful. Let me say this. If you join a group and you notice for 60 to 75, 90 minutes, however long the group is, you have a bunch of women who are bashing men or bashing their exes, that is not a sign of a healed woman. And that is not an environment or a group that you should connect yourself with. You want to connect yourself with women that are outside of that victim mindset, that are taking control over their destiny, and they are determined to heal and overcome and bring other women who want greater for themselves alongside with them. And so that is my first point of feedback for you. Therapy. You don't have to do this alone. Find like-minded women who are committed to overcoming, committed to healing. They understand that sitting here bashing him and bashing men does not produce fruit for me. And that is something that needs to be considered. It doesn't talk about whether or not you have even sought out therapy in your email to us. If you have not, I recommend that you do it ASAP. You can contact our office. We will assist you depending on what state you live. and what your insurance is, things of that nature. You can also do it independently. I encourage, I suggest you go to psychologytoday.com. That's not the only listing where you can find a preferred provider, but on psychologytoday.com, you could put your city, your zip code, your concerns. You can vet out the individual that you want to align yourself with. And the providers that are on Psychology Today are vetted, they're licensed. And so you can have some time to read through their bios and make a decision. That is my number one point of feedback for you. I also want to say this. Our traumatic experiences often cause us to adopt what can become core beliefs. And we do this because it helps us to make sense of our situation, right? And so in order to make sense of our situation, we may, again, come up with these beliefs that can become core beliefs. But because they're coming up in a place where we are wounded, they can become core beliefs that are extremely distorted. For example, non-Black women have a vendetta against Black women, and this is why they are after our Black men. You're probably wondering, where in the world did that come from? Is that something that she said? No, I'm highlighting a core belief of a client that I treated about 2 years ago. It was right before the pandemic. So yeah, about a little over a year and a half ago. And this was her story. Her father left the home. This was an African American family. Her father left her mother, left the family, left the home for a Caucasian woman. Her, in her own marriage, was married for about the same time, about 15 years, about 12 to 15 years. I can't remember the time frame. And her husband left her for a Caucasian woman. And so these two traumatic experiences caused her to have severe dislike and some high opinions about interracial relationships and Caucasian women, and they're after our Black men. And I think we have to be careful with that, right? Some other examples of core beliefs that can be birthed out of our traumatic experiences, such as this one: there is something wrong with me, or I did something wrong. These thoughts are rooted in ideas that are not truth. Now, I know we only have your side of the story, but let's assume what you're saying is completely accurate. You did not make the decision to break your marital vows and leave the marriage, queen. That was a decision that was made on his part. So the only one with the issue here, I would say, is him. If he fell to his fixed fantasy of being with Asian women and acted on this, and actually acted on this fantasy or acted on this desire, then the issues lie with him. When we do not have the capacity to say no to ourselves when we really want to say yes, or say yes when we really want to say no, those are manifestations of self-discipline. There's no success or happiness in life without the ability to discipline ourselves, right? So he left his wife and his 3 children for another woman, and you are asking what is wrong with you? You were with him when he had little to nothing to provide, according to what you said. You supported him. You made a house a home, and you are asking what is wrong with you? I don't see anything wrong with you. What I clearly see are deep wounds that have complete healing and wholeness waiting for them. Because God always ensures, listen, everybody, listen. God always ensures that our challenges and obstacles, especially when they are outside of our sphere of control. Let me break that down super quick for like 5 seconds. Sometimes our challenges and obstacles are direct manifestations of something that we may not be doing, something that we're doing too much of. And so there's room for improvement. There's room for change. There's room for deliverance. There's room to break strongholds. And that's within our power. We have to take the personal responsibility for the outcomes that we attract. But when they are outside of our sphere of control, right? What waits on the other side of our challenges is the ability, oh my gosh. I'm thinking about all the things that I've been through in my own personal life, right? And those challenges have always caused me to prosper. God always ensures that our challenges and our obstacles, especially when they are outside of our sphere of control, cause us to prosper beyond what we could ever imagine, ask, or think. So get your healing, Queen. You deserve it, and it is available to you. The third thing that I want to say is really watch. Is it the third thing? Whatever thing. I think I'm on the third thing. The third thing that I want to tell you, Queen, is watch the words that you use. Our brains are very responsive to words that we allow to come out of our mouths. Be careful of what you call so. Be careful for what you call so, right? For example, you said, this is torture. And I say it is not so. I say, Queen, it is not so, right? It may feel like torture, but this is a testimony in the making. And say it out loud. When you're going through this and you catch like, oh, I just did it. I feel like this is torture, but this is a testimony in the making. Say it out loud, because faith comes by hearing, even when your ears are hearing your own voice. Beware of getting stuck in a victim's mindset. So let me make myself clear, because someone may clearly say, well, she is a victim, right? This happened to you. The definition of a victim, right, is a person that has been injured as a result of another's action or actions. So yes, you were a victim of betrayal, of infidelity, you're overcoming divorce, but a victim's mindset causes you to get stuck in this next question, okay? A victim's mindset will cause you to get stuck in, why me? Why me? Fruit can't come out of that question. And when you get stuck in it, because you may not ever find the answer. This is why I personally feel that closure is overrated. Sometimes it just won't make no doggone sense. It just may not make sense. Oh, well, I need to look him in his face and I need him to tell me why. I need him to admit why. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to talk about closure in a little bit. I want to know your opinion about closure. I feel like it's overrated. And I try to get my clients to a place where they find closure internally and don't allow it to be some type of external source. So anyway, when you ask yourself, why me? I encourage you to reframe those questions and say, what can I learn from this? What skills can I apply here? How am I going to overcome? How will this experience bless others after my breakthrough? Let me say that again. I get so ahead of myself. How will this experience bless others after my breakthrough? I am so tired of people prematurely trying to bring people along their healing process, and you did not complete yours. You're still hemorrhaging. You're still bleeding. So now your women's meetings and your conferences become big male bashing, opportunities, because you're not healed. And so you're transferring that resentment to those who are following you and gleaning from you. So we need women to get healed before you start sharing your story and declaring that you have the prescription for other women to break through. On the other side of our breakthrough, we will always find that the weight of the blessings will always supersede the pain of our past. On the other side of our breakthrough, we will always find that the weight of the blessings will always supersede the pain of our past. And that is a choice. I remember going through challenges between the years of 2017, 2018, 2019. I can't even remember. It felt like a lifetime. And I went to lunch with my mentor, and Dr. Loren Joseph, and she said to me, this will pass. This will pass. Sometimes it's annoying to hear when you're in it, but she said, this is going to pass. And there is going to be great blessings waiting for you. I'm paraphrasing. And now that I'm on the other side of it, I wouldn't have it any other way, because I learned to not pray for abortions. Like when you pray, God, make it stop, take it away. Sometimes we're praying for an abortion because God has destiny waiting on the other side of that obstacle. I learned how to smile in the storm. I learned how to take my anxiety from a 7 to a 4. I learned how to apply the very thing that I'm teaching to my own life, so that when I get on the microphone, I have the right to hold it and I have the right to teach. I would have forfeited that. And so again, on the other side of our breakthrough, we will always find that the weight of the blessings will always supersede the pain of our past. Wait for it, Queen. Stalking his social media pages, stalking her social media pages, this will delay your breakthrough, Queen. I know it's hard, but your healing process will begin when you discontinue that behavior. And there's someone that needs to hear it. Tag somebody who continues to stalk their ex's pages. Maybe not tag them, because then you're going to call them out. Share it with them. Say, go over to the Ask Schellie page and click like and watch the live from today. Women, men, your healing process will begin when you discontinue that behavior. We are talking about stalking the social media pages of your exes. Don't feed your soul those images. You then become an additional perpetrator of your own injury. Stalking the social media pages of your exes is self-injurious behavior. Stalking the social media pages of your exes is self-injurious behavior, and your healing process will begin once that behavior has stopped, ended, extinguished. It bears no fruit. It doesn't contribute to your healing process. You are encouraged, Queen, to stop stalking his social media pages, or possibly hers if you're doing it with hers as well. So let's talk about closure. Often I am in treating women and men that are overcoming relationship trauma, or overcoming the pains of an ended relationship, or the pain associated with a relationship that has ended. There is this desire for closure. And I have seen people wait years for this thing called closure. And I'm not saying that it's not needed. I'm saying that it's overrated, because closure is a state of mind that you can achieve without the participation of the perpetrating party. Right? So on last Wednesday, I had a session. She is a beautiful girl, and the relationship between her and her boyfriend over the past 5 years has ended. And, she keeps texting and texting and texting because she wants to have this final conversation with him. This final conversation to get him to look her in the face and admit to what he did, to admit to the cheating. She has these questions. What could she have done better? And she's very adamant about the fact that once this conversation happens and this face-to-face meeting happens, she'll be able to move forward. And I don't believe this to be the truth. I don't believe this to be the case. And so, woman of God, Queen, that's writing in, because you talked about closure in your email. And so I want you to know that when I'm working with the women and the men that I work with who are looking to achieve wholeness as a result of an ended relationship, especially if that ended relationship was a desired relationship, is to find closure within yourself. And sometimes that closure is, I may not ever understand, and it's okay. I may not ever be able to make sense of it, and it's okay. He may never admit to the truth. That's okay. She may not ever admit to the truth, and that is okay. You can say, none of it makes sense, but I know that I deserve much better. And I am going to do everything in my power to walk in purpose, to maximize this healing process, to go to the other side. I want the blessing that Schellie talks about. I want to experience that overflow that Schellie talks about. I want to be able to teach the prescription on how to get over this to other women and to other men. I am tired of basking in this pain. I deserve better. So my closure is my decision to say yes to my next. That's closure too. That this is what I've learned from this season in my life. These lessons have caused me to build better boundaries. These lessons have taught me what my non-negotiables are. These lessons have given me greater discernment. These lessons have taught me to be generous to myself and kind, and I am using all of these lessons to embrace the new me, and that can be your closure. We have to stop outsourcing the responsibility to move forward into our destiny and into our next. We have to stop outsourcing that responsibility to other people. My greatest hope for you, woman, is self-acceptance. And this is the place where we experience maximized fulfillment in all that you are and all that you are not. Yes. Yeah. That's hard. Again, my greatest hope for you is achieving self-acceptance. That place where we experience maximized fulfillment in all that you are and all that you are not. Self-acceptance releases the capacity for us to be generous and gentle and kind to ourselves. That is my feedback to you, woman. Oh boy, let me see. Hello. My team has stepped up in the building. I love my consultation team. Shelton says, well, I think many times men, especially Black men coming up, tend to be one person when we start, and then we become someone else as we get out of the hood grind into a bit more success. Many times the problem is that spouses will still see you from your brokenness and not your next level of success. Then the next woman only has the perspective of who you currently are, making her more attractive. That is a very interesting perspective. He goes on to write, and men tend to love and respect as a language. And men tend to love respect as a language. And the Asian community is huge. And he puts in all caps on respect. And so now, and notice, guys, I didn't do this by mistake. I didn't mention anything about culture, right? And the reason why I did not, and I'd love for you guys to share, and I'm going to go and take a look at your responses in just a second, is because, again, sometimes we try to make sense of these things. I think it may be okay for us to have that conversation, right? This woman needs healing right now, right? This woman needs healing, and I wanted to really lean into that so that she can be empowered to get the help that she needs. And that's the only reason why I didn't bring up culture in this. However, I do respect your feedback. Again, Shelton says, we're talking about those who just tuned in. We're talking about an African-American male who left his African-American wife for an Asian woman. Okay. And I want to go back to this comment just so that it all runs together. Well, Shelton says, from Las Vegas, I think many times men, especially Black men coming up, tend to be one person when we start, and then we become someone else as we get out of the hood grind into a bit more success. Many times the problem is that spouses will still see you from your brokenness and not your next level of success. That's huge. So what you're saying, Shelton, is that there's a mindset shift that doesn't happen, and we continue to see that spouse, to see our husbands through the lenses of that brokenness. Then the next woman only has the perspective of who you currently are, making her more attractive. And men tend to love and respect as a language, and the Asian community is huge on respect. Martine says, Nothing wrong with her. She needs to heal, learn self-worth, self-love through counseling, and move on. My mentor, Colleen Otero, says, oh my, yes, Colleen, she needs your prayers. Keep her covered. Martine says, I do believe in closure. There is always a question of why that kind of always lingers around. I did do closure after many years of breakup. It helped, but I became a different person in a good way. And now I see it. And he has lost a good person. And that is amazing. And let me say, I think I said it was an opinion. I'm not declaring that closure is unnecessary, right? I just believe personally that is overrated. And so when you're seeking closure, and it is preventing you from completing your healing process, I think that's terribly problematic. Martine says self-acceptance, yes. I have been reading a lot on this lately, and there are theorists that believe that instead of teaching self-love, we really should be pushing self-acceptance, because it's through self-acceptance that we can even touch self-love. That it's through self-acceptance that we are able to even touch self-love. And what are we talking about when we talk about self-acceptance? What are we talking about? We're talking about the comfort in taking your mask off. I'm just going to throw out, there's probably like so many things. I created a self-acceptance assessment some months ago. I love it. And it has many different domains. So I'll just give you a quick sneak peek. When we're talking about self-acceptance, we're talking about when you finally achieve comfort in removing that mask, when perfection is no longer the goal, when avoiding failure is no longer the driving force of your life. This is when you find complete beauty in imperfection. Remember, there's mold and decay that is great art. That can look so beautiful, right? So when we're trying to be perfect in an imperfect world, we're in an imperfect world. Sometimes still trying to pursue perfection, but just releasing perfection as the goal. That is the road to self-acceptance. Oh boy, making sure that you take your mistakes in life and you commit to learning lessons and creating new boundaries and non-negotiables to keep you in the knowledge that you acquired as a result of your shortcomings, as a result of those challenges and obstacles. And self-acceptance is when you have maximized, the benefits of self-affirming, right? Affirming yourself, self-affirming language, being generous and kind to yourself. I could go on and on and on. This is when you realize that when you are anything outside of your authentic self, that you are engaging in deception. Deception can only attract more deception. Self-acceptance is when you understand that people see you for who you are. You're not fooling anybody. Most of the time, we're not even fooling anybody. And the best gift that you can give the world is you. I could go on and on and on, but it's through self-acceptance that we can truly arrive at self-love. And many of us need to take the time to go through the healing process to get there. And so that is my primary feedback to the queen that wrote in. I get it. You're feeling like, oh, they're after our Black men and things of that nature. Don't get so tied into those concepts. You may never understand the why. Just get the healing that you need. Start that process. Just start the process of therapy and allow it to just allow your healing process to take on its own momentum. But don't stop and allow some of these thoughts to throw you off of your healing path. That is my greatest recommendation for you. And Michael Scott from Cincinnati says, saying hello, self-acceptance is reachable thing and it's key for self-love. It absolutely is. It is attainable. when you have maintained, you've achieved, attained, and maintained self-fulfillment in all that you are and all that you are not, and that you're okay with it. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. And therapy is a great conduit to get you there. So, to my consultation team, Michael, Scott, and Martine, and Colleen, and Shelton, and all those who tuned in. Thank you so much for trusting Ask Schellie and tuning into the Ask Schellie Show. Be sure to click share. I am sure you know someone on your friend list that needs to hear this message today, that needs to hear an inspirational message that reminds us that we have the personal responsibility to heal. I get it. I know it wasn't your fault, that the situation wasn't your fault. You were a victim of those actions and those choices, but the responsibility to get better is all yours. And so step into your power. Be greater than who you were yesterday. Make that a goal each and every day and walk in your power. All right? So for all of you who are walking in power, thank you again for tuning into the Ask Schellie Show. Now, if you heard something today that made you feel like, you know what? I think I need some more help. Be sure to email info@askschellie.com. Our practice is completely full. I'm saying the F word. We are completely full, but we still take on consultations, accepting people to our waiting list, referring people out. We will help you find an anointed and certified therapist that can assist you. So go ahead and just connect. info@askschellie.com. You can also go to my website. You can visit me at www.askschellie.com. You can book me there for speaking engagements, retreats, conferences. You can book me to be a host for your next event, MC your next event. You can also book a consultation with me if you are believing that this is something that would add value to your life. Now, for those of you who have those dying questions, listen, your question may bring breakthrough to someone else. So send your questions into info@askschellie.com. You can also go to my website and submit your challenging questions there. We will protect your identity. Share your question with the utmost confidentiality. So send in your questions. We'll highlight it on a future Ask Schellie show. And for those of you who really want to bless me, go to my YouTube channel, Ask Schellie on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, click the bell. We are going to be uploading a significant amount of short videos, 1 to 2 minute videos that are designed to cause you to be emotionally intelligent. An emotionally intelligent person is a successful person, a happy person, a joyful person, a powerful person, a person walking in authority. When you know that you know that you know why you think the way you think, you know why you behave the way you behave, you know why you love the way you love, you know how to not press send on that text message because you don't do things out of emotions, you know how to get your frontal lobe awake and pumping so you are operating in wisdom and not making emotionally led decisions. Oh my God, when you're walking in your emotional intelligence, you are walking in your superpower. Wellness is a superpower. Write that in the comment section now. Wellness is your superpower. So get your cape and walk in it, because man, oh man, the world needs you to show up healthy and the world needs you to show up whole. You owe that to us. So get it done right now. Get your cape, get your cape, and remember that your wellness is your superpower. I will see you all next week. Be well, be better than who you were yesterday. Remember that there is no competition in your lane. Your only competition is who you were yesterday. Ask Schellie loves you. Walk in power in all that you do. Remember, be great.